At the stroke of midnight on March 4, President Donald Trump's executive order slammed a 25% tariff on Canadian imports to the US, except for energy, which faces a lower 10% rate. The move sent shockwaves through markets, triggering a dramatic sell-off. Steel and aluminum imports were also caught in the crossfire, further deepening the economic divide. But this is just the beginning. In response, Canada hit back hard. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government imposed retaliatory tariffs, a 25% duty on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods on March 4, followed by an additional 25% tariff on $20 billion more, effective March 13. This counterattack came after the U.S. upped the stakes with more steel and aluminum tariffs on March 12, escalating the total trade war value to a staggering $155 billion. Our tariffs will remain until the US removes theirs. No exceptions, vowed Canadian leadership. With American consumers bracing for price hikes, states heavily reliant on Canadian imports, Montana, Maine, Vermont, North Dakota, and Wyoming, are feeling the heat. This is no longer just a trade dispute. It's a high-stakes economic showdown between two of the world's closest allies. Trump has offered shifting justifications for the tariffs, citing everything from national security and illegal immigration to trade imbalances and his "America First" agenda. His approach has left analysts and political leaders scrambling to decipher the administration's true motives. One of the biggest ironies: Trump himself negotiated the US-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, to replace NAFTA, touting it as one of the best trade deals ever. Now, just a few years later, his administration is undermining it with sweeping tariffs. For everyday Americans, these tariffs mean higher costs, especially on energy, automobiles, and household goods. Canada supplies over 60% of the crude oil the US imports, and it also exports large amounts of electricity. As a result, gas and electricity prices are expected to rise. The auto industry is another major casualty, with new vehicle costs projected to soar by nearly $6,000. While the US government stands to collect $36 billion in tariff revenue in 2025, that money ultimately comes from American businesses and consumers. Experts warn that tariffs stifle innovation and competition, leading to a less dynamic economy. For Canadians, this trade war is a wake-up call. No longer willing to be economically dependent on an increasingly unpredictable US, Canada is looking inward, seeking ways to bolster its own industries and reduce reliance on its southern neighbor. Who wins the trade war? Despite Canada's resilience, the US holds the economic upper hand due to sheer size. But make no mistake, both countries will suffer. Tariffs were designed as short-term economic shocks, but this dispute threatens to create lasting structural changes in North America's trade landscape. As two of the world's closest allies turn into economic adversaries, one thing is clear: this is not how neighbors treat each other. And certainly not best friends. Subscribe for more information.